Hi, I just wanted to do this quick video to update you a little bit on the research that myself and the Nipple Innovation Project artists have been doing, and just to put across some concerns that I have from the information that we've found. So firstly, we have got an online survey on the go. Basically, we're just trying to establish the adverse mental health effects of having a nipple tattoo that then fades, because we feel that's really important. The reason that we do it the way we do it is because we're experienced tattoo artists, and we believe that body art should be permanent. We believe that if you have a nipple tattooed, that it should be there for life. A lot of people so far have said that they haven't got theirs topped up, which, you know, is obviously, it's offered by the NHS, like you can have it topped up by the NHS, but a lot of people that have been through breast cancer and multiple surgeries and trauma do not want to visit a hospital again, and a lot of them can't justify spending the money on getting a cosmetic tattoos to do the procedure, which is why we personally are trying to fund this, so that people don't have to go to the NHS, they can come to us and get funding. I had another lady this morning that had her nipples tattooed by the NHS 11 years ago, and she hasn't shown anyone her breasts in all that time because to her they just look so awful, and that really breaks my heart, and it justifies in my mind that the information that we are trying to get across is really, really important. The worrying thing that has come to my attention recently is to do with the people that are supplying the NHS and the NHS themselves and their understanding of their own procedure. And the thing I'm going to talk about today really is the pigment thing. There's all sorts of misconceptions with pigments. So you will hear people say that, oh, they don't use tattooing because it causes cancer. Now, there is no evidence at all to suggest that. There was a study done a few years ago that I think the tabloids kind of jumped on and tried to make out that tattoos cause cancer, but there was actually no definitive, conclusive result in that experiment that indicated this. There's no excess cases of cancer in people that have got tattoos. There are a lot of other elements that obviously go into whether, unfortunately, you are going to get cancer or not. And tattooing, as far as we know at this point in time, regardless of what pigment you are using, is not going to do that. But anyway, so Kaz, who has Lincolnshire mastectomy art up north, she's one of the Nipple Innovation Project artists. She's ART certified, she's very good at what she does, and she is very much kind of in the same mind frame as me. Like we all feel that this is really important, and we need to get as much information as we can to really create awareness of this. She had messaged the NHS. There's a Freedom of Information Act, so basically you're entitled to any information that the NHS holds. Would just like to point out that there is never, as far as I'm aware and as far as I've found out and the companies that I've spoken to, there has never been a study into areola tattooing, and there is no actual kind of reason that it's done the way it's done on the NHS. Just would like to throw that out there. Anyway, Kaz received a reply, and the person who had replied didn't really seem to know what they were talking about. Like the answers were very vague, which is worrying in itself. It just kind of felt like they couldn't really be bothered to find the information. And the one question that's relevant to what I'm talking about today is regarding the pigment. So Kaz had asked, what pigments do you use on the NHS and why? And the only response, very short, was just said, there's no metals in the pigments. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So then I went and found the group, the organisation, the company that actually train probably the majority of the NHS practitioners doing this procedure, and they actually supply equipment to the NHS as well. So as far as I'm aware, that would include the pigment that they use. The lady on the phone was very lovely, and I asked her, like, you know, why is it better that it's semi-permanent, blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, well, all the pigments that we sell are organic. All right, okay. So when you hear the word organic, you think natural, you think safe, you think, you know, it's designed to be in the body, it's organic, so it's better. I was like, right, okay, I don't claim to know a lot about inorganic and organic pigments. I know a little. And then the lady was very kind and sent me all the data sheets to do with their pigments. Now these are available for any regulated tattoo ink. So the tattoo inks we use, you can download the safety sheets off the website and you can see exactly what's in the inks and why. It's a bit of a minefield because they're all just weird numbers, but anyway. The pigment in question, the first colour I picked out, I just picked a random number. They were like 20 areola colours. And the main ingredient was iron oxide. Now the thing that worries me about that information is firstly the NHS claimed that there's no metals in their ink. Iron oxide is most definitely a metal. It's deemed as a relatively safe metal because obviously our bodies contain iron anyway, but it is still a metal. And then the other thing that worries me is that people supplying the ink said that the pigments are organic. Iron oxide is not an organic pigment. Organic pigments generally are carbon-based. They tend to be quite bright. They're not really suitable for skin tones and browns that we need to create areola. So iron oxide is a better option for that, obviously, but iron oxide is not an organic pigment. Now, it doesn't really matter whether a pigment is inorganic or anorganic, like it's just a label that kind of these things are given. And all it is preference to what colour you're trying to create. So yeah, I just, the fact that the NHS couldn't answer our questions and they don't know why they do the procedure the way they do it. The people supplying the NHS don't actually know anything about their own products that they're selling. I'm sure that people further up the company would know this information, but like the lady I spoke to said that like she's obviously been told that what they're selling is organic, and it's not. So the more I look into it and the more research I'm doing, I cannot find a definitive answer as to why it is deemed better to do this procedure the way that the NHS do it. And I just really want survivors and people considering getting this treatment to be aware that just because your consultant might recommend this treatment to you, it's not the best option, and you should contest that. Like until we get to a point where we get consultants referring patients to ART, until we can create concrete evidence and get more data together and just prove definitively that what we're doing is safe and effective, then it's not going to happen. So basically, like as I said, we've got an online survey. I'll post the link, and if you have had areola tattooing of any kind, if you can just fill it out really quick, that would be great. And hopefully next year we can really start pushing the data that we found and changing things for the better, because you deserve the best. You've been through enough, you deserve the best. And we believe that what the NHS and what cosmetic tattooers are offering is not the best. We want the training to change within the NHS. We don't feel that a 2-day course is good enough when you consider that a tattoo artist trains for 2 years at least. So, it really all needs to change. And anything you guys can do to help is great. So thank you very much.